Hi students, today's topic is oxygen dissociation curve, very important from NEET point of view. So watch this video, lecture video till the end so that all the doubts would be clarified. Clear? If any doubts are there, come to the chat box and you ask the doubts. Clear? So oxygen dissociation curve. What is the association and what is dissociation? Association means plus, that is oxygen binds with hemoglobin, whereas dissociation, oxygen do not bind with hemoglobin here, do not bind here. It do not, if it binds, association do not bind, that is unloading here. Association means loading, whereas dissociation here means unloading of oxygen with the hemoglobin. That's called as dissociation. With these principal aspects, we'll be discussing this lecture video now. Clear? So before discussion of this one, let's have some glance of the introduction. Okay. So here, inspired air or inhaled air, that is, which is nothing but oxygen, isn't it? We take oxygen into the lungs, alveoli, isn't it? That is here lungs, here alveoli. There this oxygen gets associated with the alveolar capillaries, then enters the arterial blood system, isn't it? That's a difference one here. Next one is, after lungs, oxygen enters the arterial blood. Arterial blood. Here heart is there. I am not explaining the total circulatory system. Here the main target is to explain the oxygen dissociation curve, isn't it? So inspired air into the lungs, alveoli, then it enters arterial blood system here. Oxygenated blood is carried by the hemoglobin into the tissues or cells, as the case may be here. The cells, this one is explained many times. This is a cell, oxygen is taken, glucose molecule is degraded. Catabolism, oxidation of the glucose molecule, isn't it? This oxidation occurs in the presence of oxygen, isn't it? So oxygen is taken by the cells. Here metabolism occurs. Here metabolism is catabolism, destruction, oxidation, isn't it? In mitochondria takes place, and after which what is released here? Here what is released? Carbon dioxide is released here. Isn't it? Oxygen is bound here. Oxygen is carried. Arterial blood, oxygenated blood here, oxygenated blood by the arteries, arterial blood, oxygen is carried and bound by the hemoglobin and to be supplied to the cells for catabolism. After catabolism, that is oxidation, carbon dioxide is released here and that is again picked by hemoglobin. Here. That is carbon dioxide. Here, venous blood. Venous blood. Why? Because this is carried by the veins. This is arterial blood because it's carried by the arteries. Which arteries? Systemic arteries. Here I am not writing systemic arteries, and these are the systemic veins, as different from the pulmonary arteries and the pulmonary veins, isn't it? So venous blood, deoxygenated blood, and here carbon dioxide is carried and again supplied to which one? Lungs here. Again supplied to the lungs. Isn't it? That is, lungs, they release here. Because they supply to the lungs, there the alveolar exchange occurs, oxygen is taken inside and carbon dioxide is released outside. That is the expired air. That is nothing but carbon dioxide is released out from the human body here. So this is a total exchange of gaseous system here. Breathing and exchange of gases. The total system is explained here in this one, in this flow chart. All of you take a screenshot of this one. Take a screenshot. Done. Okay. Now I told you that what's the crucial factor here? The hemoglobin is a crucial factor here because the hemoglobin only binds with the oxygen. The hemoglobin is mainly bound here to the oxygen here. That is, as much as 97 to 98% of oxygen is carried by the hemoglobin. and only 2 to 3% approximately of oxygen is carried by the plasma. Plasma in the dissolved state. Plasma is carrying oxygen in the dissolved state. How much of oxygen is carried by plasma in the dissolved state? Only 2 to 3%, whereas the hemoglobin, oxygen is associated with the hemoglobin and carried to the cells for metabolism. As much as 97 to 98% of oxygen is carried to the cells and tissues for metabolism, bounded by the hemoglobin. So that's the crucial factor here, bachon. So what is hemoglobin? What is its role? Let's discuss now. Clear? So this one just want to explain the first point. The second point now. The second aspect of this explanation is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. Okay, all of you take the notes. Taking of notes is crucial here. So hemoglobin is studying the pod filing structure. Here the main intention is not to explain the hemoglobin, just to what is the role of hemoglobin to carry the oxygen. That is the main target, isn't it? Because it's already explained under RBCs, isn't it? You prefer the previous bioprep videos. Clear? So hemoglobin contains the two parts. It's present in the RBCs, erythrocytes. They are present inside the RBCs. That is a respiratory pigment, hemoglobin. And hemoglobin contains two components. What is that? One is a heme part. The first component is called as a heme part. And other component is called as a globin part. Globin part. The globin part is a protein. What is a protein? What is a globin here? Protein. It is made of polypeptides. How many polypeptides are there? 4 polypeptides. 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains here. So the total structure is not explained. Let's come back to the heme part. What is the heme part? Let's have a mere glance here, a small glance of this heme part. So here is a circle here, okay, and here like this, and here like this, and here like this, and here like this. Okay, students. So this is the heme part, and here of course alpha chains and beta chains. This is a protein part. Chains are there in this fashion here. I'm not I'm focusing mainly on the heme part here. So this is the heme part. For example, this is the heme part. Heme, and heme here. 4 heme parts are there, and each heme part contains the iron in the form of ferrous ions. In the form of ferrous ions here. These are the ferrous ions. The ferrous ions. Iron is present in the form of ferrous ions. Ferrous ions here. Ferrous ion means Fe2+. That is each heme part. See here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heme parts are there. Here, each heme part contains the iron in the form of ferrous form. Clear, students? Up to here is clear now. So, for each ferrous form, what is attached here? That is a crucial component here. Oxygen is attached here. What is attached? Oxygen here like this. What is attached here? Oxygen. Each ferrous form is bonded with the oxygen in order to form the oxyhemoglobin. So overall, what is the bottom line here? One molecule of hemoglobin carries 4 molecules of oxygen. 4 molecules of oxygen here. That is 8 atoms of oxygen and 4 molecules of oxygen here. One molecule of hemoglobin. This is one molecule of hemoglobin which carries 4 molecules of oxygen here, because it is attached to the iron in the form of ferrous form. Okay, students. So this is a basic approach, bachcho. So let's discuss the hemoglobin, how it is associated, the present discussion now. Here. So the third part here, we have discussed the first and second parts. In the third point, the hemoglobin is containing the two states. One is called as tensed state. Other is called as the relaxed state. Relaxed state. Tensed states and relaxed states here. I'll give a very common example, bachcho. When you are getting marks, you are a student. Okay, this is the common example to explain this part. You are a student, you who is watching here, isn't it? So student, when you are in the tensed state, the two states are there for the student also. One is the other is the relaxed state. Tensed state, when you will be tensed state, you are a NEET aspirant now. You are watching this video means you are the NEET aspirant, isn't it? So you are in the tensed state. Why? Because you are not getting the marks. For example, I am saying here, you are a good student, I know it. Okay. So tensed state, you are not getting the marks. For example, I am saying here. Okay, for example, you are not getting the marks. For example, you are getting only 180 or 360 here, or 500 marks out of 720 marks. You are in the tensed state. And you are doing more effort here, more preparation. So you are getting here 700 marks out of 720 here. Now you are in the relaxed state because you will get the seat in AIIMS Delhi here. Compulsory, done. Okay, don't disappoint. So you are getting the relaxed state. Why? Because around say here, you are preparing here, more strategy, more plan. So you are relaxed now because you are getting more marks. The same way, bachcho, here the hemoglobin also contains the two states. One is a tensed state, other is a relaxed state. Who is this hemoglobin now? Student. For example, student. And tensed state, when it is not getting which one? Oxygen. The marks are like oxygen here. The marks are like oxygen. And when it is getting oxygen, it becomes relaxed. That is, when it getting marks, the student gets relaxed. In the same way here, when this hemoglobin molecule gets the marks, enough marks like this here, that is in the form of oxygen here, it is entering the relaxed state here. Relaxed state. Clear? So like this here. Okay, this is very clear. It's very clear, isn't it? So, how this tensed state is born? Example, just now I told you that the heme part, 4 heme parts are there. This is a heme part, this is a heme part, and this is a heme part. And this is a heme part, for example. Okay. 4 heme parts are there here, isn't it? Central here. Okay. Here ferrous ion, ferrous ion, ferrous ion, here ferrous ion here. Okay. Each one is should be having which one? Oxygen. Because this can carry oxygen, this can carry one oxygen molecule, this can also carry one oxygen molecule. Only then it is entering the relaxed state. Otherwise, tensed state. Getting your point? So this one, for example, this is the first one. This is the first one. This is the second molecule, for example, and this is the third one. This is the fourth one. Let's exemplify it. Clear? So this molecule, this heme part, okay, is getting oxygen. So how much of total here? If it is total, if how many are there? 4 are there. 4 means here. Let's assume here 100%. 4 is equal to 100%. That is. Here, one molecule here, that is one ferrous ion is getting which one? Oxygen. That is how much of this one? 25% of this one is getting here. 25% of this hemoglobin molecule is getting the oxygen here. With more and more effort. For example, you are getting just 500 marks out of 720. Then you have to do more effort or less effort? You have to do more effort, more preparation, more skills. more interaction with the teachers, more preparation plan, strategy, more effort day and night. You have to more reference of the books, more reference of the NCERT lines, more preparation of these biography videos, of course. So like this, what happens now? More effort is done. This requires more effort. Just like a student in first week, for example, first month, this day you are getting just 500 marks out of 120, and this month of this June, you have to do more and more effort. Only then you are getting the marks. You are the student now here, hemoglobin, isn't it? That is only then you are getting the marks, means only then you are getting oxygen. That is here, like this marks. Clear? Only then the molecule, the ferrous ion gets the oxygen with more and more effort. Here you are doing the effort, but what is this one doing, bacho? The effort is like the partial pressure of oxygen. Partial pressure of oxygen. It is like the effort. Your preparation, your skills, your talent, your interaction, everything here. That is, I am trying here, all in one, right? Let's call as effort here. So your effort is getting marks. You are here hemoglobin, and getting the marks here means oxygen. In the same way, hemoglobin is getting marks in the form of oxygen. By doing the effort, what is effort here? Partial pressure of oxygen. Here, this one has effort here. What is it? More effort. Here, isn't it? It has to do more effort. Then the second molecule now. This one, second one here, second ferrous ion. It also should be binded with the oxygen molecule here. But this Joule requires more effort. Suppose you are studying 16 hours a day for, of course, in June. Only then you are getting marks. Only this, more pressure here, more pressure and more effort should be done. More effort. Only then you are getting marks in June. In the same way, more partial pressure of oxygen. Only then oxygen gets bonded with the ferrous ion. Otherwise, no. More effort, more partial pressure of oxygen here. Only then here. For the month of year June, for example. Next one is, let's go to the second ferrous ion now. In July, it requires lesser effort or more effort when compared to June? Lesser effort. You are getting a lesser effort. Why? Because your preparation gets streamlined. You will be aware of which books to refer. You are aware of whom to contact, which teacher to be consulted. If you are not getting marks, isn't it? The best preparation strategy is there. Then, when compared to this effort is lessened. This is 16 hours, more marks. This is just 14 hours, equal marks. Getting a point? That is, here also the partial pressure of oxygen is there, but here when compared to this one, it is lesser here. It is lesser here. And this one also here. This one in the month of August, your preparation requires just 12 hours. In June, 16 hours. In July, 14 hours. In August, just 12 hours. The same marks. Same marks. Why? Because your preparation gets even more streamlined. With less effort, more marks here. That is the partial pressure also here. Lesser partial pressure. But here oxygen gets bounded here also. In the month of September, you require even lesser effort when compared to these 3 months. It becomes very easier. Now the preparation has become a cakewalk for you. Isn't it? Just like the pulling of this cap, it becomes like this here in the month of September here, because your preparation has become even more streamlined but shown. Clear? The same way, oxygen gets bounded with the ferrous ion with a lesser partial pressure, even lesser partial pressure. Here more, here when compared to this one lesser. When compared to this one, even more lesser, and is the easiest one here, very lesser partial pressure. Even then, oxygen is now bounded to the ferrous ion. Now, when it is bounded here, 25% saturated, I told you, isn't it? When this one is also bounded, 50% saturated. If it is this one is also bounded, 75% saturated. This one is also bounded. It is 100% saturated here. That's it. Getting your point? It's very simple. Absolutely clear, isn't it? So this one is called as a percentage saturation. Percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin molecule. That's it. What is the percentage saturation now? How much of oxygen is binding with the ferrous ion? That is hemoglobin here. To be more precise, clear. How much of how much of oxygen is binding with the hemoglobin molecule in order to form the hemoglobin is called as the percentage saturation of oxygen with the hemoglobin here. This is 25% saturated, 50% saturated here. If only this one is bonded here. Okay, leave it aside here. If only this one is this ferrous ion is bonded with the oxygen, only 25%. If these two are there, 50%. If these three are there, 75%. If all the four are included, 100% saturation of hemoglobin with the oxygen here. It's very simple. So what is required here? You are the hemoglobin and you require the mass. In the form of which one? Oxygen. For this one, what is required? An effort called as percentage saturation is, the effort called as here, partial pressure of oxygen is required. Without partial pressure, there is no question of any percentage saturation. In the same way, without your effort, there is no question of getting marks here for you. You are bounded with the which one? Marks. In the same way, hemoglobin is bounded with which one? Oxygen. And for this binding, you require the effort, and for this binding, it requires which one? Partial pressure of oxygen here. Clear, bacho? It's very clear. You say easy, isn't it? Now it's very, very easy, bacho. Okay. Also type in the comment box below how you are feeling right now. Yes. So this is called as percentage saturation here. So I told you that as and when required, it takes more or effort or lesser effort. It takes very, very lesser effort, isn't it? And this process is called as positive cooperativity. Positive cooperativity. That is, as in the successive stages, the oxygen gets bonded with the hemoglobin molecule in an easier manner. Just like in the successive stages, as we move from June to September, your preparation gets more streamlined, easier. The same way here, as we move further, it becomes very, very easier here. Getting your point, all of you students? It's very, very easy, isn't it? This process is called as the positive cooperativity here. Okay, students. Now the fourth aspect we are entering here, the fourth aspect here of this discussion. Now a few statistics here. 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 1.34 ml of oxygen. This is the standard value. 1 gram of hemoglobin molecule carries 1.34 ml of oxygen, and so as to form the oxyhemoglobin. That's the first point. Second point. In NCERT, the standard value of hemoglobin in the humans is given as 12 to 16 grams per 100 ml of oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood here. This is the standard value given in NCERT here. But even this standard value is given, this hemoglobin is content of hemoglobin for every 100 ml of blood is varying based on the sex. That is, in the male so and so content, in the female so and so. In the physiological levels, it depends on the physiological and metabolic state of the human beings. Whether active, so like this here, it also depends, and also health status of the individual also determines the content of the hemoglobin for every 100 ml of oxygenated blood. But this is the standard value given in NCERT here. Okay, students. But let's assume that it is 15 grams. Let's assume that it is 15 grams here, because the average almost value is 15 grams of here. That is 15 grams of hemoglobin is present per every 100 ml of oxygenated blood here. Let's assume here. Okay, students. So next one is oxygen binding capacity. Binding capacity. Here, you remember the code OBC here. Oxygen binding capacity. There is a formula. This is an important formula here. Numerical problems may come in NEET, actual NEET. Oxygen binding capacity can be depicted by hemoglobin concentration into hemoglobin's binding capacity or affinity here. Binding capacity means affinity with oxygen. So what is binding capacity here? Binding capacity is nothing but affinity. That is how much of hemoglobin gets binded with the oxygen. That is called as hemoglobin's binding capacity with oxygen. So oxygen binding capacity is equal to formula hemoglobin concentration. What is the hemoglobin concentration? Okay, what is the hemoglobin into hemoglobin's binding capacity, that is affinity with oxygen. So what is the hemoglobin concentration? It is, we have taken roughly as 15 grams, isn't it? Actually in NCERT is given as, this one NCERT is given as how much? 12 to 16 grams. But here 15 grams we have taken standard value, isn't it? 15, that is 15 grams into hemoglobin's binding capacity with oxygen. What is that? 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 1.34 milliliters of oxygen. So 1.34 milliliters of oxygen is equal to 20.1 milliliters of oxygen is carried per every 100 ml of blood here. Arterial blood. Systemic arterial blood. That is oxygenated blood here. For every 100 ml of arterial blood, oxygenated blood carries 20.1 milliliters of oxygen. That is a standard value here. Okay. And let's take this round figure as 20 ml here of oxygen. Out of this 20 ml of oxygenated milliliters of oxygen per every 100 ml of oxygenated blood here, only 5 ml of oxygen per every 100 ml of oxygenated blood is actually supplied to cells for metabolism. So what does it mean? I told you that what is the standard value here? For every 100 ml of oxygenated blood, 20 ml of oxygen is carried approximately here. But out of these, only 5 ml of oxygen here. Note this point. Only 5 ml of oxygen is per every 100 ml of oxygenated blood is actually supplied or delivered to the cells for metabolism. That is, if you take this one as 100%, only 25% of oxygen from the hemoglobin is actually delivered to the cells for metabolism. 100 minus 25, how much? 75%, literally here 75% of oxygen binding with the hemoglobin is present in the venous blood here. That is still 75%. How much is 75% here? 15 ml. 20 minus 5, 15 ml. That is 75% is carried by venous blood. Is carried by which one? Venous blood. That is deoxygenated blood carries still 75% of oxygen. Because here 20 ml of oxygen per every 100 ml of oxygenated blood is a unit value, out of which only 5 ml of oxygen is actually for every 100 ml of oxygenated blood is actually supplied to the cells. That is only 25% of oxygen is unloaded from the hemoglobin in order to supply to the cells for metabolism. Still 75% of oxygen is present in the venous blood. That is, the venous blood is 75% saturated. The venous blood is still 75% saturated. You are getting the point? Absolutely clear now this one? Yes. So let's come to the crucial section here, called as here graph. What is a graph here? Oxygen dissociation curve. This is the core point of this lecture. Okay. This is a graph. Oxygen dissociation curve is a graph drawn between partial pressure of oxygen on, what is this axis? X-axis. On X-axis, and percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin taken on Y-axis. This is the definition of oxygen dissociation curve here. So the graph is drawn. What is a graph drawn? Between which one? The partial pressure of oxygen taken this X-axis, isn't it? In the coordinate geometry, 4 coordinates are there, because we are not discussing the negative coordinates, only the positive coordinates are being discussed here. This is the X-axis and this is the Y-axis here. On the X-axis, what is taken? The partial pressure of oxygen in the millimeters per mercury is taken, isn't it? This is the X-axis, and this is the Y-axis. What is taken here, Bacho? Percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin. That is, oxyhemoglobin is taken on the Y-axis. That is a graph here. This graph is called as the oxygen dissociation curve, which is very important to discuss, to analyze the factors which determine the association of oxygen with hemoglobin and dissociation of oxygen with hemoglobin. We'll be discussing now. Okay, students. And this various standard values here. For example, you take, this is the standard values taken. Partial pressure of oxygen, and here percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin. If it is the partial pressure of oxygen is, for example, 20 mmHg, millimeters of mercury, 20 is taken. If it is 20 mmHg, the percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin would be 30%. If it is, on the other hand, 40 mmHg, then the percentage saturation is 75%. 75%. This is 30%. This is 40 mmHg is the 75. For example, in the tissues and cells, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, 40 mmHg is present in the tissues, and the percentage saturation is 75%. And if it is 95 mmHg, as in the blood, that is arterial blood, 95 mmHg is a partial pressure of oxygen, then it would be 97% of saturation. On the other hand, if it is 104 mmHg, it would be almost 100% saturation. So these are the different values here. So 20 mmHg is a partial pressure of oxygen. Then it would be the percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin. What is that? That is how much of oxygen is binding actually with the hemoglobin. That is called as the percentage saturation, I told you, isn't it? That is, if the partial pressure of oxygen, if the pressure is this one, how much of oxygen is binding with the hemoglobin? 30%. If it is, pressure is more, for example 40 mmHg, as in the tissues, it is still more. That is 75% saturation is there, as we have discussed. Next one is, if it is 95 mmHg, as in the arterial blood, then the saturation would be 97%. That is, oxygen, 97% of oxygen is binding with the hemoglobin. That is the meaning of 97% of oxygen is binding with the hemoglobin. That is the percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin. If it is 104 mmHg, as at the alveoli, more partial pressure of oxygen is there in the alveoli of the lungs, isn't it? Then high partial pressure of 104 mmHg, literally here, which makes almost 100% saturation. That is, almost 100% of oxygen gets binded with the hemoglobin. Clear, students? That is, the partial pressure is directly proportional to which one? The percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin, just like your marks. More effort, more marks here. Here is like the effort I told you already. Effort, and this one is the marks. That is, oxygen is a marks, and you are the student. That is called as the hemoglobin here. That's it. Partial pressure of oxygen is directly proportional to the percentage saturation of oxygen with hemoglobin here. Let's come to the graph now. So this is the x-axis. So 10, 20, 30, 40, blah 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 here up to 100. Here y-axis 10, 20, 30, 40, blah 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 up to 100 here. Okay, students. So this is taken here x-axis and y-axis here, and this is called as a graph called as oxygen dissociation curve. We'll be discussing now. Association is towards the left side. This is the left side of the graph. Always remember, this is the left side and this is the right side of the graph. Okay, students. Just now we have discussed that if it is 20 mmHg, let's come to the I'll take this mark. Okay. If it is 20 mmHg, it is 30%. That is, what is mmHg here? Partial pressure of oxygen, isn't it? So this is a 20 mmHg here. Here, this one is a 20 mmHg. That is partial. This is the partial pressure of oxygen, isn't it? So 20 mmHg. I am taking this one like this. This is the point. And what is the percentage saturation here? 30% here. That is, this is the percentage saturation, isn't it? So where is the 30%? This is the 30%. See here. This is a 30% here, so you draw like this here. Then you have to draw like this, very simple, like this. Next one is 40 mmHg. As at the tissues, what is the 40 mmHg? Where is that? Here is the 40 mmHg. See here. And where is the percentage saturation? 75% here. What is where is 75%? Between 70 and 80 here. This is almost here. You see here, almost roughly like this. Here, this one's is a point. You see here, see here, this is a copy like this. Okay. The next one is 95 mmHg. If it is 95, the percentage is 97%. Where is 95? Come on, quick. This is a 95 here, isn't it? So here is 95, and where is 97? Almost here, like this. Here almost 97, isn't it? So this is 97, here like this. And where is this one? Here 95. Okay. Like this, like this, like this. 95. Okay. So this is the point here. This is the point. So different points are taken here. This is the point. If it is 104 mmHg, here is 104, let's assume is not up to 100 I drawn. For example, here is 104. Here is 104, for example. And it is 100% saturation here, isn't it? Here is 100%, isn't it? See, I'm drawing here. 100% saturation here, like this. 104. So different points are taken, but all of you see here. These different points are taken. This is one point, like this. This is one point, for example. And this is the other point. This is point, and this is a point here. So if you connect these lines like this here, if you connect these lines like this, like this, like this point, if this point is connected to this one, and this point is connected to this one to this one here, and here 0 here, neutral point, it becomes a S-shaped structure, roughly an S-shaped structure here. S for sigmoid. S for sigmoid. S for stands for not only success, bacho. S stands for sigmoid. Okay, students. So here if you got here. This is factor here. What is that here? Association. Here, obviously, our left side means here association of oxygen with the hemoglobin at the lungs alveoli. That is, it is towards the left side, association of oxygen with the hemoglobin. Percentage saturation is more. If it is a right side, it is moving. That is, the percentage saturation is lesser. Why? Because when the partial pressure of oxygen is more, then the percentage saturation is more. It is more, it is more. If the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser, then the percentage saturation is also lesser here. So this is happening at the which one? Lungs, alveoli. This one here. The partial pressure of oxygen is more, so the percentage saturation is more. So that oxygen gets bonded with the hemoglobin to form the oxyhemoglobin at the alveoli. It is towards the left side. If it is moving towards the right side, the partial pressure of oxygen means that if the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser, becoming lesser. If the partial pressure of oxygen is becoming lesser, what happens? The percentage saturation is also becoming lesser here, as witnessed at the tissues. The tissues, the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser, and the percentage saturation of oxygen with the hemoglobin is also becoming lesser. Watch all of you. It's very simple, isn't it? See here, when the partial pressure is increasing, see here, the partial pressure is increasing, the percentage saturation is also increasing. The partial pressure is increasing, the percentage saturation. The partial pressure is increasing, the percentage saturation. But you see here, it is like a flat structure. Can you see all of you? It is like a flat structure here. This flat is just like a plateau of geography, isn't it? So it's big. Why? Because even if you increase the partial pressure here beyond this capacity, furthermore the percentage saturation cannot be increased here. For example, maximum you are getting 720 by 720 in NEET examination. With little more effort, you may ask here, what happens? Will you get 721? Is it possible? Maximum is 720 only. Even if you do 24 hours by 24 hours into 7 into 30 days, you are still getting 720 marks only, not 721, but so, isn't it? Because there is a saturation limit. Limit is there, isn't it? Only up to 720. Even the maximum mark, what is that 720? See, in the same way, even if you increase the percentage saturation, the partial pressure, when the saturation limit is there, even if it is increased, with the partial pressure, then the percentage saturation is not increased here, because there is a saturation limit is raised here. Saturation limit. That's why it's like a flat one. This is a steeper one. See here, this is a steeper one. As the partial pressure is increasing, the percentage saturation is increasing, but beyond the capacity, even if the partial pressure is increasing, the percentage saturation is becoming no limit here, saturation limit. That's why it is becoming a flat, just like a plateau here, like this. That's the thing here. Okay, students, all of you. So, what are the factors which favor now? Let's discuss what are the factors which favor the association and what are the factors which will favor the dissociation of oxygen with hemoglobin. Okay, students. Now, factors. Now, factors which favor the association of oxygen with hemoglobin, and the factors which favor the dissociation of oxygen with hemoglobin. Here association means loading. That is percentage saturation. The association means here oxygen gets binded with the hemoglobin. That is called as loading of oxygen with the hemoglobin. There are certain factors which are favoring, and dissociation of oxygen with hemoglobin means unloading or unbinding. There is no affinity. Affinity is decreasing. The binding capacity of oxygen with the hemoglobin is decreasing here. Affinity is decreasing. The binding capacity is decreasing here. There is a dissociation of oxygen, that is unloading of oxygen with the hemoglobin. Various factors determine this one. What are these factors which favor and what are the factors which disfavor here? Let's discuss now. The first factor, see here, these factors actually here, the fact because there is no space here, it can't be explained here, that's why I'm explaining here this one. and these are explained here. This one here. That is the tissues dissociation and the alveoli lungs association here. Okay, students. So at the lungs alveoli, there is an association of oxygen with the hemoglobin. That is loading happens here. What are the factors? As you know, the first factor is most crucial factor. The partial pressure of oxygen should be more here. Only when the partial pressure of oxygen is more, then the oxygen gets binded with the hemoglobin. Where is that? Where the more oxygen is there. Where the more partial pressure of oxygen with the hemoglobin happens here. It is at the lungs, bachu. Lungs alveoli, more oxygen is there. If more oxygen is there, more partial pressure of oxygen, more oxygen gets binded with the hemoglobin. Percentage saturation is more. Oxyhemoglobin is more here, like this. Okay, the first factor. Next one, number 2 is the partial pressure of oxygen should be lesser. Opposite of this one. This should be more, this should be lesser. As with the lungs alveoli. Next one is the hydrogen ion concentration should be lesser. That is acidity should be lesser here. That is pH should be more. If acidity is lesser means pH is more. For example, 7 is a neutral point. If it is more than 7, it is alkaline. If it is below 7, acidic, isn't it? Like this here. Okay, students. So because the hydrogen ions are decreasing, the pH is increasing, the acidity is decreasing here, which are witnessed at which one? Alveoli here. That is, hydrogen ions are decreasing here because the carbon dioxide is decreasing at the alveoli. That's why hydrogen ions are decreasing. The acidity is decreasing and the pH is increasing here. That is above 7. It is becoming as at the alveoli lungs. Next one is the fourth factor is temperature. The temperature should be decreasing here. So these are witnessed at the alveoli. All these 4 factors here along with some other factors are witnessed at the alveoli. That's why the oxygen gets binded with the hemoglobin. That is, the percentage saturation of oxygen with the hemoglobin is more at the alveoli lungs. Okay, students. But the opposite is seen at the tissues. This one is seen at the tissues here. This one's tissues. That is the lungs alveoli. Where is the left side? That is association. Right side dissociation here. So dissociation of oxygen with hemoglobin as seen in the tissues, the extremely opposite factors happen. What is that here? The first one. What is that? The partial pressure of oxygen is lesser. The partial pressure of oxygen is lesser at the tissues. And the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more. And the hydrogen ion concentration is more. And that is acidity is more. And the pH is lesser. Next one is temperature. Here is more here. Extremely opposite factors are witnessed here. These factors favor the association and these factors favor the dissociation of oxygen with the hemoglobin. That is, unloading happens near the cells. Because oxygen must be supplied, it should be released. Because the cells take the oxygen. Oxidative phosphorylation Krebs cycle. Oxygen, only the presence of oxygen, isn't it? In order to release energy in the form of ATP. For this catabolism, what is required? Along with glucose, oxygen is also required. That's why oxygen should be unloaded, dissociated from hemoglobin. That is what happens near the cells. Clear? So oxygen is, partial pressure of oxygen is lesser and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more. Why? Because when oxygen is taken, after metabolism, what is released? Carbon dioxide is released here. Cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is released here. Along with the carbon dioxide, what is also released? Temperature and ATP, of course. We are not bothered about ATP here. Okay. So carbon dioxide is released here. When carbon dioxide is increased, what happens? When the carbon dioxide is increased, then CO2, I am drawing here, explaining here. The carbon dioxide is increased here. Then the carbon dioxide mixes with the water of plasma, blood plasma. Because much of blood plasma is water. So instantly the carbon dioxide mixes with water. in order to form it's a reversible reaction, in order to form the carbonic acid H2CO3. This is the carbonic acid. And again, a reaction happens here so that it forms in the H plus ions and HCO3 minus ions. So if the H plus ions are increased, it means that carbon dioxide is increased, means the H plus ions are increased here. If the H plus ions, the carbon dioxide is increased, means the H plus ions increases. If the H plus ions increases, what happens? The acidity increases, means pH is decreased pH here. Yes, students. So the carbon dioxide is increasing, the hydrogen ions are increasing. When the carbon dioxide and hydrogen ions are increasing, then the oxygen is unloaded, dissociated from hemoglobin. When, all of you listen carefully, when carbon dioxide is increased and hydrogen ions are increased, then what happens? Oxygen gets dissociated from hemoglobin. That is, loading of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ions leads to the unloading of oxygen. That is called as Bohr effect here. That is called as a Bohr effect. So what is Bohr effect here? The hydrogen ions and carbon dioxide are increased here, which leads to the unloading. This is the loading. The loading of hydrogen ions and carbon dioxide leads to the unloading. Unloading of which one? Oxygen. To which one? Cells. Because carbon dioxide, this is, for example, this is hemoglobin. Okay, students. This is hemoglobin. This is oxygen. This oxygen must be supplied to which one? Cells. So here, this is association. Because of increase of this carbon dioxide and hydrogen ions, what happens? This oxygen is now unloaded to which one? Cells. Because metabolism has to happen. This effect of hydrogen ions and carbon dioxide on the unloading of oxygen is called as Bohr effect here. Only then oxygen is supplied to the cells for metabolism. Clear? This is very clear, isn't it? So these are the factors which favor the dissociation. You may ask here, sir, why temperature is increased here? Yes, that's the question here. After metabolism, okay, oxygen is taken. What is this here? Carbon dioxide along with that ATP, of course. We are not bothered here. Temperature is also increased. Why? Because heat is released along with the ATP and carbon dioxide. Heat is released near the cells. That is, near the cells, the heat contributes, increased heat contributes to the increase of temperature near the cells, which also favors the dissociation of oxygen with the hemoglobin here. So these factors, partial pressure of oxygen is lesser, as at the tissues, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more, the hydrogen ions, that is acidity, is more, the pH is lesser, the temperature is more, which leads to the unloading or dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin here. So this, as we see here, then what happens means very important phenomenon happens here. What is that? Let's discuss more. Okay. So this one is witnessed. This sigmoid curve is witnessed here. Association of oxygen with hemoglobin, isn't it? As witnessed at the lungs alveoli. But as we move towards the right side, that is tissues, what happens? This partial pressure of oxygen is lesser or more? Partial pressure of oxygen is lesser as we move right side. Okay, students, for example, here like this. As we are moving towards the right side, isn't it? This is the right side, this is the left side. So we are moving towards the right side. As we move towards the right side, the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser because we are moving towards the tissues now. So see here, as I show all of you see here, like this here. The curve is shifting towards the right side, that is towards the tissues, means there is an unloading of oxygen from the hemoglobin because of the decrease of the partial pressure of oxygen, increase of partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and all these factors here. It's absolutely clear, isn't it? So that is the shifting of the curve, sigmoid curve towards the right side means there is a dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin here. Okay, students. So we have discussed the 4 factors. The 5th factor is also there, but what is that? Let's discuss now. The fifth factor is hypoxia situations. Hypoxia. What is hypo? Hypo means lesser. Oxia means here oxygen. Less than oxygen is seen at which one? Less than levels of concentration of oxygen is seen at the higher altitudes like mountains, mountain peaks, higher mountain peaks. For example, 5,000 meters above the sea level, for example here, or 6,000 like this here. Then, as we go up, what happens? Oxygen level, deficit of oxygen, scarcity of oxygen level decreases. The partial pressure of oxygen is lesser. But anyway, oxygen must be supplied to the cells for metabolism. Otherwise, the person will die. But there is a option here. What happens when there is a hypoxia situation? That is, less than oxygen is there. What happens? The RBCs, erythrocytes, by glycolysis. Why glycolysis happens in the RBC? Because there is no mitochondria. If mitochondria is there, oxidative phosphorylation, Krebs cycle like this, ATP is released. But here, RBC, much of the RBC is covered by hemoglobin. That's why nucleus, mitochondria, blah blah blah, all these are absent here. So there is no question of any oxidative phosphorylation or something here. That is why in the cytoplasm, the glycolysis happens to the RBCs here. Because of this glycolysis, what happens? An intermediate product is formed called as the 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. Called as 2,3-DPG. 2,3-DPG here. This is an intermediate product formed by the glycolysis by the RBC in order to, as a result of which one? Hypoxia. Hypoxia means less than oxygen. As seen in the mountains of high altitudes above the 5,000 meters above the sea level, there is a less than oxygen. As a result, the RBCs, as a result of this glycolysis, forms an intermediate product called as which one? 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. This is an intermediate product. And what is the importance of this one? 2,3-diphosphoglycerate decreases the affinity of oxygen with the hemoglobin. As such, these factors here also decreases the affinity of oxygen with the hemoglobin. This also factor, that is 2,3-diphosphoglycerate, also decreases the affinity, binding capacity of oxygen with the hemoglobin. Then the oxygen is like this here. This is the hemoglobin, I already told you. This is a hemoglobin, oxygen, like this here. That's it. This is a dissociation, unloading of oxygen, and that is also favored by the fifth factor called as which one? What is that? 2,3-diphosphoglycerate, produced by the glycolysis of RBCs here as a result of hypoxia situations. So these factors favor the dissociation of oxygen with the hemoglobin. Yes, friends. Last but not least here. Hold on, all of you. Hold your breath. It's a very important point. Okay, I'm coming here. So the last factor here. So this is also very important for me. All of you note down. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. CO is a pollutant, air pollutant. When it is increased, I'll tell you a very common example, bachon. You. Okay, you are a good student, of course, I know it. But you see here, bachon. You. When carrot is given and a pizza is given, which you prefer? Tell me frankly, you prefer pizzas, I bet. Even though you know that 100% carrot is good for your health, but you prefer pizzas. In this one, the pizza is like carbon monoxide. The carrot is like which one? Oxygen. The U is like hemoglobin. That is, when the hemoglobin is seen here, both oxygen and carbon dioxide, it favors the carbon monoxide in this triangle. In this triangle, the hemoglobin favors the carbon monoxide because the carbon monoxide is 200 or 250 times more affine, that is more affinity with hemoglobin. Carbon monoxide has 200 to 250 times more binding capacity or affinity with hemoglobin. As a result, if oxygen is there, it forms only if the carbon monoxide is not there. The hemoglobin binds with the oxygen to form the oxyhemoglobin. But if carbon monoxide is there, it do not favor this one here. Hemoglobin do not favor this one, but it favors the carbon monoxide. As a result, what is formed? Carboxyhemoglobin is formed. Carboxyhemoglobin is formed here. When the carboxyhemoglobin is formed, then what happens? The binding capacity of oxygen with the hemoglobin increases here. That is when the carbon monoxide is formed, then what happens? The oxygen cannot be unloaded. Oxygen cannot be unloaded here. For example, it should be unloaded here. This is hemoglobin, oxygen. It should be unloaded like this here. But because of this carboxyhemoglobin binding with the hemoglobin, it can't be unloaded. That is, the oxygen, the cap here, cannot be unloaded here. Here marker. What is the marker here? Hemoglobin. It is there as it is. But what is to be done? Oxygen must be unloaded. Only then oxygen is delivered to the cells for metabolism. But here it is not unloaded. It is still associated. Isn't it? Then oxygen is not supplied. If oxygen is not supplied to the cells, there is no metabolism. The metabolism is hampered. It leads to the death. That happens. It can be fatal in the severe cases because of the carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Severe cases of air pollution, carbon monoxide poisoning, so that the oxygen is not unloaded to the cells for metabolism. It's still there. So hypoxemia, oxygen scarcity, where the cells are not getting the sufficient amounts of oxygen, cell death, and the metabolism is hampered. It leads to the death of the concerned person here. Okay, students, hope you enjoyed my session.